do it. Let's do it.
Micah Parsons' trade request Friday has not swayed Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones, who said he will not consider trading the star pass rusher. CeeDee Lamb went to X to give his take on Parsons' contract negotiations, and recent trade requests never fails. Just pay that man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular. Here's Jerry's response on Micah.
Of the world of Micah, and that's just a part of negotiation. What y'all don't know is what I offered him. And it's a hell of a lot more than you think I did. That's what you don't know. But my point is, I reached. Make no mistake about it, I reached. As always, in any relationships, there are different moods at different times of your relationship. That's what it is. Don't lose any sleep over it.
So just to be
That's
clear,
the one thing I would say to our fans. Don't lose any sleep over it.
Stephen A., what price is Dallas going to have to pay for their treatment of Micah?
Hopefully they'll play a very hefty price, because I don't like what's transpiring here. And I'm not going to troll Dallas Cowboys Nation like I usually do, because I'm just playing around. The Swagoo knows that. You all know that when I'm talking about it. But on subjects like this, I get very, very serious about it, because I'm going to confess, I got a lot of love for Jerry Jones. I've come to know him over the years. I have an affection for this man. I know there is an inordinate amount of players, black and beyond, that used to play on the Dallas Cowboys, that still play on the Dallas Cowboys, that he has looked out for, and he has been a tremendous individual for them. But there are certain things that he does during negotiations that take so much of that away because of how he goes about doing things. You're playing with this man's future. You're playing with this man's livelihood in terms of Micah Parsons. Yes, he's under contract, but the reality is that you know what this man deserves. You had an idea about it, and you're playing these games. And why am I so disgusted with Jerry Jones about this? Because of the things that I've heard. Molly, Mike T, Swagoo, you've heard this. Do y'all know he hasn't spoken to Micah Parsons' agent? You're talking about, you're treating like the discussions that you had months ago with Micah Parsons was a negotiation. It wasn't a negotiation. Now, you know this as a former executive in the National Football League. You don't sit up there and have a discussion with a player and think that's a contract negotiation. Was anything memorialized? Was anything firmly and definitively agreed upon by the parties that be? Normally, you're sending the player away because you want to talk to their representation. You're not thinking that a conversation with a player who, by the way, is 25, 26 years of age, that this man is astute and he's an expert at negotiations. That's not Micah Parsons' level of expertise. That brother's specialty is getting at the quarterback. That's what he does, okay? His agent is the one that's supposed to be in front of Jerry Jones having these discussions. But you have a discussion with Micah Parsons, and you're trying to act like that's some agreement that he reneged on, which caused you angst, which made it so you don't really want to communicate with anybody else right now. That's incredibly insulting, and that goes bigger, y'all, than just, oh, this is a contract dispute. You are not talking to his representation. You are acting like a private conversation with you and Micah Parsons was a negotiation. You're a multi-billion-dollar successful businessman who's negotiated on the highest of levels. Jerry Jones knows better, which means that you're trying to take advantage of that young man. And I think that that is the story that is not being talked about enough when it comes to this. If you was talking about David Mulugata and the conversations with him, that would be different because that's his level of expertise. You don't talk to Micah Parsons and act like that was a negotiation. Jones has to worry about, listen, Rock Nation, Mulugata, this brother is an elite agent. Let's not forget that. This ain't somebody that's just a no-name. To act like you didn't know him. This is one of the best agents in the business, okay? We know what he brings to the table. So that was nonsense in and of itself. But then when you take into consideration, you got other cats like Rock Nation and Jay-Z and those boys speaking out on behalf of Micah Parsons. That's not necessarily his representation. Why are they speaking out about it? Because now, yes, I'm going to say it. It is taking on racial connotations. And in racial connotations, here's what I mean by that. You cannot sit up there and say that you had a negotiation with a player and you're not talking to his representation. That is, that reeks of you trying to take advantage of somebody. And listen, years ago, and I covering the NBA, Commissioner David Stern, you had players that were so offended by sitting across the table from him and some of the things that he would say. And I would look at them and I go like this. if somebody rolled up to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, D Wade, or one of us, and just said, we want to play you one-on-one, wouldn't you be insulted? Well, that's how that man felt with you sitting across from the negotiating table with him, because that's his lane. You understand? This is not what you do, not compared to him. And what I'm saying is Jerry Jones is a multi-billionaire. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys franchise is worth over $10 billion. This man is negotiating deals for breakfast. This is what he does. Yes, but to not speak to his agent.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And because you're basically saying, I should have the right to take advantage of this 25, 26-year-old player. That's not his specialty. You're ignoring his representation.